Alright, so earlier in the video you saw how I used Google Sheets to determine the necessary values that I need in order to make my box plot, and then I'm going to show you how to make a box plot by hand on this. So this is kind of like a graph, however we're not really going to use the y-axis, we're really just going to use our values here on the x-axis. So all of these values, I went ahead and already numbered them. Starting at 0, I just skipped a line. The scale might not work for your data, so it does help to kind of count how many blocks you have first, make sure you can get your minimum and your maximum value for all of your data sets on here first before you decide how to use it. But I'm going to go ahead and write seconds down here as a unit. So in my first data set, I had found that the minimum, I'll go ahead and start with the median. The median value was 11.29. So I'm going to find 11. Here's 12. This would be 11.5. I'm going to leave a little space. So 11.29 is going to be about in here. And so I'm just going to go up 3 boxes. It does not matter what size boxes you have. My quartile 1 value was 10.48. So here's my 10, there's the 10.48. It's going to be real close, obviously, to that line. And so that's going to be where my first box is. That's the quartile 1. I could even put a Q1 there to help me. And in fact, that median value I might make a little bit bigger than that box to kind of remember. My quartile 3 value was 13.48, so again, really close to that line. So I'm going to draw that and finish the box. So this part of the box you would want to color code. So I just picked a color. I'm going to go ahead and shade that in. And then this is the box part of it, but we need to add the whiskers. The whiskers are going to represent your maximum and your minimum value of the entire data set. So sorry, this is maybe a little sloppy, but you can see my box there. So then I also need, I'm going to go ahead and put quartile 3 up there, and then my minimum value would be a 7.04. So if I come down here, this is where my 7 is. Obviously 0.04 is pretty much on that line. So I'm going to draw a vertical line and then horizontally connect it to the box. So this is the whisker part that shows you how far of a distance there is in that first quartile to the median. And then same thing with the maximum value. My maximum value is 20.1, so again, really close to the 20. So I'm going to draw a line there and then connect it with my box. I'm going to go ahead and go over those in red. Doesn't have to be completely perfectly neat, but at least visible. So there I have my box and whisker plot. And then I'm going to make a legend over here where my red color is representing, mine was, sorry, the 3% hydrogen peroxide. And then I'm going to go ahead and use data, and so you would make another color box plot, and that might represent your 1.5% hydrogen peroxide, and then you should have a third color. And when you draw your next color, you can leave a little space and you can draw that one up here. The idea is that you're stacking these one on top of the other because we're looking at overlaps. You know, if your 1.5% is like pretty much overlapping 90% of the 3%, I'm using a lot of percentages. If the majority of your graph for 1.5 is overlapping the 3, then we start to get into the question of, is there really a difference then when we dilute our substrate concentration? However, if your blue graph, if the 1.5% hydrogen peroxide is very little of an overlap with a 3%, then we start to notice that there is a big difference in the substrate concentration.